What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we have got a little bit more Star Wars Hunters news once again. Nothing crazy as of right now, so I will keep this one pretty short, but we did actually get all 9 of the confirmed heroes in the game at launch alongside some images of those characters, and we actually got a few more gameplay screenshots without the HUD as well. So the news is rolling in pretty quickly around this game, and honestly I'm getting more and more excited as the days go by. Before we get into it though, if you guys are new around here and you end up enjoying the video, then do consider subscribing and turning on those notifications so that you don't miss out on any upcoming Star Wars Hunters content. With the marketing for this game seemingly starting to gear up, there is plenty of exciting stuff on the way, but with that being said, let's get stuck right into it. So like I said, we've got a few images here of each of the 9 confirmed characters in the game, and I actually do have something odd to mention about a 10th character that we have already seen who isn't included in here, but I'll save that for after all these official images. I did already kind of mention these in the video from the other day, but here we have Amara Vex, who is a bounty hunter, and the bio says, always looking for the bounty, always on the hunt, Vex never loses. Vex does look to be sort of like an explosive type hero just from the shoulder mounted rocket and the grenade on their hip, as well as some of the icons from the gameplay screenshots the other day. So yeah, I'd imagine Vex is essentially like an explosive expert type of hero. Next up we have the big bad Groz here, who looks absolutely menacing, and his bio says a Wookiee warrior with a penchant for disarming droids and his opponents. Now I think this guy took disarming droids very literally. As you can see, his weapons are genuinely the arms of a KX series droid, the same unit as K2SO, and judging by what we've seen, I'm almost certain that Groz will just be like a brute sort of melee type of hero. I'd assume he's probably got some of the highest health in the game, and obviously he will just whack the hell out of his enemies with those droid arms. Next up we have Utuni, which is obviously just 2 Jawas stacked on top of each other, which is honestly such a great way to have a Jawa be a little bit more relevant. It makes him a little bit taller and kind of adds to the humor, so I absolutely love the design, and their bio says Jawa scrappers with an arsenal of hidden firepower. We see these cheeky buggers with a grenade in the trailer, and then they both have a blaster in this shot, as well as the top one having a backpack which will be no doubt full of different weapons, so I'm really interested to hear more about how these guys play. Next up we have Reeve, who is obviously a Sith, and her bio says a shrewd dark side warrior here to sow wickedness throughout the arena. Now I absolutely love her design. Honestly, I think her outfit and stuff look awesome, and she kind of has like a Dathomirian vibe to her, almost like a Night Sister, and honestly she could actually be a Night Sister. It doesn't really say that she's not one, I guess. So yeah, I think Reeve is definitely one of the most well designed characters so far, and I reckon she will be a ton of fun running around with that red lightsaber. Next up we have Sentinel, who is obviously a stormtrooper, and he's carrying a freaking E-Web blaster, which if you've seen The Mandalorian, you'll know those things are absolutely OP as hell when you pick them up like that, so I feel like he's going to be a ton of fun. His bio says a remnant of the Empire unwilling to accept defeat, which alludes to the setting of the game, that being after Return of the Jedi. So for those who actually didn't know, this game is confirmed to be set after Return of the Jedi, pretty much the same time frame as Mando, funnily enough, that I just mentioned it, and yeah, it seems Sentinel doesn't really want to give up on the Empire just yet. Next up we have Zaina, and her bio says a veteran of the Rebel Alliance and a hero to the New Republic. So she's obviously been through some shit in the war, as you can see with her non-existent legs. She looks pretty awesome, and I don't know about you guys, but she does give me like the sort of female Han Solo vibes. She's got the vest, the DL-44, even the stance. She definitely reminds me a lot of Han, so I think I'm really going to like her character quite a bit. Next we have Arental, which weirdly enough it doesn't actually say his name on the screen there, but I'll spell it out for you guys because it does kind of just sound like the regular Aaron, which obviously in Star Wars would be a pretty weird name to have. And his bio says this Mandalorian stalwart is here to call out the wicked and serve up fiery justice. This dude looks like an absolute boss in the trailer. We see him come down with a flamethrower, and he obviously has a jetpack as well, so I'm really interested to see how this guy plays because he could be a lot of fun, just like Boba in Battlefront 2, due to the use of that jetpack. Now next up we have Jedi, or J3DI, even J3 to be honest, could be a handy nickname for this lad. And I'll be honest, a droid Jedi is absolutely amazing, and I'm so keen to see this guy in action. And his bio says one of a kind droid programmed to believe that the Force is with him. He literally looks just like Obi-Wan did in Revenge of the Sith, but just like a droid version. I think he looks so awesome, and I'm really curious to see what they do with his abilities because obviously he can't use the Force, so there could be some very funny abilities there for sure. Now last but absolutely not least, we have Slingshot, who yes is a freaking Ugnaught rolling around in a purple droideka. That might be the most gangster shit I've ever seen in my life, and I can tell this guy is going to be a fan favorite already. His bio says a flashy adrenaline junkie joyrider, Slingshot revels in roadkill, and I think this guy is going to be one of the funner characters to play. Not really too sure what his abilities are going to be, but we will actually get to look at one of them in one of the upcoming images. Now before we get into those those gameplay images, what I was talking about earlier was that weirdly enough there is actually a character missing here by the name of Scora, who is a Rodian character in these leaked images from those ads a few days ago. Now, whether this character's been scrapped, maybe even replaced with Arental, or whether this could just possibly end up being a DLC character, I'm not entirely sure, but I thought that was worth mentioning anyway, as it is definitely a little bit odd that Scora wasn't included. Now, just to finish off here, we've got two gameplay images that actually have the HUD removed, so it is nice and clean looking, and I must say the graphics are actually amazing considering this is a mobile game. I've seen a lot of people joking around and mentioning that this game looks like Fortnite, and while I definitely do actually see where they're coming from aesthetic wise, if we're comparing a free-to-play mobile game and saying it looks like literally the biggest and most popular game of the last 5 years, then I consider that to be a pretty big win for this game, to be honest. It's not going to play anything like Fortnite, so I'm not too sure why people are so worried about the look, but yeah, for me personally, I really do like the look of it so far. Now, in this image, we can see the perspective of Zaina, and this is on the same map that we see in the trailer. I assume it's meant to be a replica of Tatooine, since these are just like man-made arenas. And then we can also see J3 over on the left, Amara Vex on the right, Reeve up the top there, and then right in the middle is Slingshot with the Droideka having its shield on, and this is what I meant when I said I'd imagine this is actually one of his abilities, but other than that, I'm not really too sure what else he'll have, and the same goes for pretty much every hero, to be honest, so that's probably what I'm most excited for, is just to hear about how these guys play overall. We then also get a look at the perspective of J3 here on the Hoth map, and there's actually quite a bit going on in this screenshot. The thing I'm the most curious about is that green gas stuff at the back there. If you look closely, it has the medic or like health symbol all over it, and so this could be some sort of Bacta bomb or like a health pack or something that someone's thrown down. It's obviously pretty hard to tell, but I thought that was definitely pretty interesting nonetheless. I also just love the graphics in this shot once again. Obviously, it's got that like cartoony feel about it, which can often make it look like it's not quite as good graphically, but the lighting on J3 himself, the terrain, it all looks so much better than I would have ever expected it to, and I'm absolutely stoked with how the game is looking so far, and I just hope it actually does look this good when the game actually launches. Now, we've also got these two sort of lower quality images here as well. One is of Utuni shooting some sort of electric blaster at J3, and then one thing I noticed was that this part of the map is still obviously the Tatooine map, but it's a completely different area of the map. So I think these maps could be bigger than we think, or they could even be like different variants of each map. So there could be like Tatooine 1 and Tatooine 2, for example. Now, the last image that we have here is just another action shot on the Tatooine map again, and there's not too much extra info here aside from the fact that in the background you can actually see a doorway that seems to lead to a whole other section of the map, which I guess just adds further to what I mentioned before. These maps could be a lot bigger than they initially looked in the trailer. But anyway guys, that is pretty much it for this video. I'm excited to see all of these characters being officially confirmed and sort of introduced to us, and I cannot wait to see more about their abilities and weapons and everything. So hopefully the news keeps on rolling in, and if it does, you will certainly find all the news and updates right here on the channel. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. As always, a massive thank you to my channel members and my patrons for the continued support. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel as well, then be sure to check out the Patreon page that is linked down in the description. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like down below, and if you are new, then consider subscribing to the channel with those notifications on. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Crush them! Make them suffer!